Dustin Weinkoff here, product specialist with Agland. Today we're going to go through our product support video for our C-Series air carts. So now that we're all set up and we're ready to go to the field, there's a couple things we need to make sure that are set up on our cart. First is our half-width disconnect. So on the C-Series air cart, each disconnect has an electric switch to open and close them. We want to make sure that they are in the open position. So handle down, you can see there. There is no warning on the machine that will tell us if our half-width disconnect is closed. So if we have it closed, we go seeding, and there's no product coming out, we're metering product out of another tank going to the same chute. Blockage will tell us that there's product coming. Meter will be turning, but nothing will be coming out. So do make sure that after we do any calibrations, meter changes, anything, we are making sure that's open. Next, we're going to talk about our tank slides. We've been cycling them daily. They should move nice and freely. What we want to make sure is that they're set in the proper position for the crop or product that we're applying. Typically, our higher rate products or bulkier products are going to go on our top chute. So usually that's going to be our fertilizer. If we're doing peas or beans, we might want to drop those big bulky products onto the top chute, but still have them go down our seed boots on the tool. So to do that, we would have the product come on the top chute and change our primary hoses at our cart and tool connection. Just flip those. For all normal other seeding, we'll make sure our fertilizer is coming on top and seed going to the bottom. Now once we have it set here, we want to make sure that our pin is locked, and then that we tell our display at which position these are set in so our blockage knows at which tanks to look for. At our display, we will go to our cart setup, we'll go to tool, and to our next page here. Here is where we want to tell it where each tank slide is. Currently we are set on bottom, bottom, and our two rear tanks on the top. You can hit accept, and now it will give us a warning to cycle the key power. This will update the air cart controller and blockage controller. The next thing that we need to set is our tank pressurization gauges. So with both of our fans set to the desired RPM we need in the field for our product that we're applying, we're then going to set our gauges. Here we will see 4 gauges, one for each of the tanks. We need to move this handle to the proper position. If our tank product is going to the bottom chute, we want to make sure we're getting air from the bottom chute. If we are applying to the top chute, we want to make sure we're grabbing air from the top chute. By moving the yellow banjo valves, we will set it within the gauge. On our cart side display, we can go to our menu, scroll down to tank pressure, and here we can see our gauges for each tank. While applying canola or inoculant, we want to make sure that our gauges are set in the middle of the yellow. So by just slightly moving our gauge valves here, we can get that set. For all other products, fertilizers, cereals, we want to make sure that we are set in the center of the green, making sure that we don't go into the red. So going through our tank lids here, on our mini tank, we do have 2 options to fill. We've got our bottom tank lid here, as well as your upper one up here where your conveyor can go in. To open this one down here, just a handle, push down and squeeze. Will open up. Now there is a bag buster in here for canola, so if we're carrying canola bags up, we can break them open. If you're hanging anything else over, you can remove it. And then when we're latching it back up, we want to make sure that we push down, squeeze our latch, and go until it locks. Now we're going to go through opening and closing our upper tank lids. Tank lids are very simple to operate. We have a foot pedal here. We want to do push down and forward and let our tank lid roll all the way down. Now with the lids all the way down like that, your conveyor can be moved all the way across the top with no interference. To close them up, one thing we want to make note of is that the tank lids are properly latched. When we close the handle, it's always a good idea to give a pull. If the lid lifts up, it's not latched. Want to make sure we unlatch it, go back out, and re-latch. We're now sealed up. Running our conveyor, the first thing we're going to want to do is change our fan diverter switch here. So our fan hydraulic circuit will run the conveyor belt itself. The arms and everything will be ran on the power and beyond circuit. So as long as your tractor is running, you can maneuver the conveyor, but to actually run the belt, we need to make sure that our diverter switch is changed. We're going to turn on our receiver here and which of the remotes we would like to use. Now looking up top, there are 2 pins that we'll need to unlock every time we go to move the conveyor or if the tractor's power is cycled. Hit our unlock button. Now with our conveyor unlocked, we can remove it from the cradle. There's also a speed selection here to speed up or slow down your hydraulics. Before your auger or conveyor contacts the ground, we want to make sure we lift up the handle. With our conveyor here, a couple things to note. There is a screen in place here, so if we are loading fertilizer, it is recommended to leave the small screen in. That way we're filtering out any lumps, gravel, any debris that are in our fertilizer. Loading our seed, peas, things like that, we're going to want to make sure we remove this small one. So there's just 2 pins here. Going to lift it up, pull it out, and then we can load here. Now this is what's going to give our conveyor its maximum capacity to 100 bushels a minute. On our conveyor here, there are 2 emergency stops, one down below here and one up top. What this will do is it will completely disable our conveyor system. So shut our belt off and disable all movement from our arms. And at any time, if this does get activated and pushed down, to reset it, you just need to pull up, shut your remote and your receiver off, turn everything back on, and you can resume normal operation. So if you do ever find that nothing's moving, this is something to look at, as well as our locking pins up top. So on the new conveyor here for the C650, very similar to our C850, but it's on the C650 here, the conveyor belting itself has changed. So we do have a cleated belt here. The belt does wrap up in the tube, so you can run oil seeds through here and not have an issue. Want to remove our handle, put it back down in place. We want to make sure our big arm is in first, and then we'll bring in our second arm. Now over on the right hand side here, we do have our tank agitators. So behind the cover here, we can remove these 3 pins. And here's where we can get to our agitators. So by removing this bolt here and moving it from the inside position to the outside position, that's where we can put our agitators into high speed. So high speed would be oats, barley, anything that is a high static product that we need to be agitating more in the tank and make sure we're not getting any bridging. So inside hole, slow speed, the outside hole is fast speed.